Yes, guys, it's Danny Glover for Fight Fan TV Live, and we're here today joined by the one, the only, Radio Raheem at the Usyk Dubois 2 weigh-in. How you feeling today, sir?
Man, I'm too old for this shit. That is a line from Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. And my man, do you know that you have an iconic name, as do I, from an era gone by? Can you believe that Danny Glover is interviewing Radio Raheem? What is it, 1987? Come on!
I love it. So today we saw the weigh-in. Dubois looked quite muscular. Usyk, a career heaviest at 227. What did you make of those weights today?
They determine really what kind of camp these guys have prepared in the fight that they intend to bring to the ring. Yes, the weight differential matters in the sense that it gives you your first indication of what they've come to do, and it's no surprise that you know Alexander Usyk is coming to move about and to be a technical, proficient fighter, to take advantage of every opening that Daniel Dubois gives him. You know that the dexterity and the agility and the angles is Alexander Usyk's whole card, that he is going to try to dominate and confuse Dubois. He's going to try to frustrate Dubois. And in the end, he is going to have to stay away from Dubois' power. I don't think Alexander Usyk has any misnomers about that. Dubois knows that he comes with the heavier punch. He knows that he can hurt Usyk. He doesn't believe it was a low blow, and if it was, to be fair, it wasn't in the bits and bobs. It was right on the belt line. So if you raise that punch by a half an inch, does the same effect not happen? I think that's a hard case to make. So the fact that in Dubois' mind, he's already been the first man to put down Usyk in his peak, and since Usyk has become champion, that he goes in there with a head of steam saying, I just got to batter this guy. I've got to break through a steel wall indeed, but I've got the power to do it. He's going to come through like the Kool-Aid man, right through the wall and knock Usyk down like a ton of bricks. That's what's in Dubois' mind. For Usyk's sake, I've already beaten this guy once. I've beaten both of the best heavyweights that Britain has to offer twice, and this will be the second time I do it for the last big British heavyweight that you guys have to offer. I think for him, he feels like he's got the calculations. He's already done it once, and he'll do it again and better the second time out.
How do you feel that being in Wembley in the UK this time, because I was in Wrocław in Poland for the first fight, do you think that will psychologically have a better effect for Daniel Dubois being on home turf, having more support than he did out in Poland?
Of course it will. If you are fighting in your backyard while you've been doubted for years, the last 3 fights he's been an underdog. Even with the belt, he's an underdog. Coming into the Joshua fight, it was just Joshua's coronation. It was at the same building, but he wasn't the man on the night until he was the man on the night. And this is something that he has been waiting for his entire life, for people to see him as the heavyweight champion of the world. And he can only really be that if he becomes undisputed, because this belt that Dubois holds, in fact, was because Usyk decided not to defend it against a mandatory. So he has yet to beat the man who's been the man. And tomorrow night is his first opportunity to do that. So as much as he feels like a champion, and he should because he is, tomorrow night is when he officially becomes the King of England.
Well, it does make sense, as he was screaming and the new, not and still. So it kind of makes sense with what you're saying. I know that you're very close with the Dubois camp. You've been, in the farm, and, Eddie, one of the security and stuff who do the training. What have you seen this time from Daniel Dubois, if you have, what seems different to the fight before?
I've been in this game a long time, and I've covered both of these fighters for their entirety of their career, so I'm close to both camps. But you're right, I have been physically present in Dubois' camp, and I've seen how Daniel is being trained by Don Charles, which is a very unique relationship. I've seen his father sitting ringside, shouting out instructions, and the team that Don Charles has put together, and the influence that Dubois' father has on him, and his motivation and his ability to focus is very, very unique. That makeup of that environment is something that is not recreated anywhere else in boxing. And even the barn, it's like a barn. It's so just hard scrabble, bare bones boxing in there. But at the same time, for this camp, they brought a lot of technical elements to it. He's ice bathing, he's doing the oxygen, he's hanging upside down on trap. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it's stuff that he hasn't been doing before, because this fight demands him to be something he has yet to have become. And that is what we're going to see tomorrow night. We're going to see the evidence of all of that training, of all of that technology, of all of that belief, all of that faith, all of these years of coming to this moment and being the guy that you believe you were meant to be. That's what's happening in the camp of Daniel Dubois. And in the camp of Alexander Usyk, it's just another guy ahead of what we intend to do, which is to become, once again, for the second time in just over a year, undisputed in the four-belt era. Unheard of. And if anyone can do that, it's Alexander Usyk. But if anybody can stop Usyk from doing it, it's Daniel Dubois.
I love that. Speaking about American boxing, as you said, that you feel that Britain is the home of boxing. Last week we saw Sheeraz versus Edgar Berlanga when Sheeraz put the hands of Hamza on Berlanga. What did you make of that fight?
It was
because I'm hearing a lot of controversy about hand wraps and blah de blah as well.
I mean, I don't know about any of that. You got to prove it. You know, we hear that a lot of times from sour grapes. You prove it. You got to prove it on the night. It's the best time. 2 days after the fight, 3 days after the fight, a week after the fight. Those hand wraps are long gone, my friend. So if there's something wrong with them, you better find them out and get them. Because it's not like cheating doesn't happen in boxing. We know that it does. But you can't just say it's happening and not have any proof of it. So I have no proof of it. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But I need to see some proof to even comment on that. With what happened in the ring, however, you saw a coming out moment for Hamza Sheeraz. He came to Berlanga's backyard. He saw the Puerto Rican fans on their feet. The crowd was electric. The flags were waving. You know, Amanda Serrano couldn't get the job done the night before, so they put it on the back of Berlanga. And I thought Berlanga did the best that he could do, but Sheeraz was just too much for him on the night. It was his night. And now he claims to be the king of New York, which is already going to pit the whole of the American fan system against him. But sometimes it doesn't matter whether they love you or they hate you. In fact, if they hate you, you can count on them showing up to buy those tickets and those pay-per-views to see you get beat. So Hamza might have just put himself in marquee pay-per-view status.
Talking about kings, on the night after tomorrow night, I know you'll be doing a lot of media, but hopefully you'll get back to your hotel or home in time to catch the king of the Philippines in Manny Pacquiao fighting Mario Barrios. Looking to become one of the oldest world champions in history. So how do you see that going, and what do you think about him coming back after so many years?
Oh, I surely will be watching that fight live. No question about it. I don't care where I'm at. I'll be pulling it up. I began my career with Manny Pacquiao, Wild Card Boxing Gym. I was there the day he walked in. The first interview was at the Vagabond Hotel on a air conditioning system hanging out of the window with 8 other Filipinos that were all sharing the same room before anybody knew what Manny Pacquiao would become. And so watching him ascend to being one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen and the kindest guy you're ever going to meet, yes, it is difficult to justify him being the #1 contender for that belt, but however, he's done so much for the sport and for the WBC, and if he can leverage his connections and his status and the amount of money that can be made by him being in the ring, and that gets him into a position to have one more shot at being a champion, who are we to deny him? He's got the moment. It's his to grasp. It's a hell of a tall order, and we'll see tomorrow night if he can make yet history again. But boy, he's being asked a lot. He didn't pick a nothing champion. Understand that Mario Barrios is a damn good fighter. He's a world champion for a reason. He's a class fighter, and Pacquiao is going to have to do something that should be impossible for him to succeed tomorrow night, but he's done the impossible before.
Thank you so much for your time. Give us some last words to your supporters and let everyone know where they can find you, and let everyone know any future things that's coming up. Take it away.
Listen, you don't have to support me, but you have to support boxing. And if what I bring to boxing is what you want to see, then you can find me on Seconds Out on YouTube. You can find me on the socials. It's Radio Raheem on Instagram or Radio Raheem TV elsewhere. What's most important is that you support the sport and you support journalists. Young men like this who are coming into the game, asking questions, getting at fighters, asking the questions that need to be asked. Support them. If the fighters don't want to do the interview, then say, hey man, how do you come you didn't talk to FFTV? What's going on? That guy deserves an interview. Make sure that these young crop of generation of reporters, the guys that are getting on the ground now, get their looks and get their interviews if they've earned their spot. This man has, so he's in the game. Don't forget to like and subscribe. FFTV, he needs your support, and that's why I'm talking to him, because I support the next generation. Man's doing a damn good job. Radio Raheem here with Fight, Fight, Fight. Fight, what's the other F?
Fan.
Fight Fan TV.
There you have it, guys. It's Fight Fan TV Live. It's Danny Glover with Radio Raheem. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know what it is.
This video is powered and sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club.